Good morning and welcome back to another vlog. Life in Sweden is always off to a good start when the kitchen downstairs is spotless when I come down in the morning. We have a little remnants of our movie night last night. I made Nigella Lawson's chocolate chip cookies. If you like chocolate and cookies, you will die for this recipe. I will have it linked in the description box below. We also had quite a bit of laundry to do because the cleaner was here a few days ago and she changes up all the linen, and that means I had to catch up on the linen washing on the weekend. We also been washing some of our winter clothes. This is one of the kids' winter overalls. Winter is quite long, quite harsh here, so you need really good clothing, and I like to get them washed and put away for the next season. The summer furniture is out on the deck, but we are planning to change up the furniture, so we will be going shopping for outdoor furniture in this vlog, so stay tuned. But first, let's have some coffee and some quiet time, which is what I love to do in the morning before everybody else wakes up. Have a cup of coffee by myself, look out the window and really try and be still and really appreciate my life. Now it's that time in the vlog that we step outside, and as promised, the planters here in the square have been changed up by the municipality. If you watched my video last week through to the end, you would notice that I filmed these planters with the winter flowers that had really seen better days, and I said that the municipality would change them up, and of course they have, to these beautiful spring flowers, beautiful colors, sort of yellows and pinks, really bringing the planters up to life and to a new season. From flowers outside to flowers indoors, at Ica Maxi, the local grocery store, is full of Easter flowers this time of the year. And when I mean Easter flowers, I mean flowers that obviously are yellow, pink, blues, and even white. They really have a variety of things and a beautiful variety of flowers if you like flowers and you want to pick up some for your home. Now, these are called påskris. I featured them very briefly on my vlog last week, but I will be showing you how to create one at home and not have to buy these. But now let's go furniture shopping. Now, the reason we are changing up the furniture is because we snagged some teak outdoor furniture for 90% off at the local garden center during Christmas. So we found ourselves buying 6 of these chairs. It was 90% off, so we couldn't pass it up. But obviously, once we bought those, I really wanted to find a table. Now, I wasn't in a hurry, but I found this while I was walking on one of my shopping days, and this caught my eye. It's so beautiful. It's perfect for what we're looking for, and I wanted my husband to have a look at it as well, because anytime we buy anything big for the house, I definitely want his opinion. We like to decide together, and he really liked it as well. So while he was purchasing the table, I decided to walk around the shop. I found these Easter candles. They are so beautiful. I really love this cream color. It brings me back to the good old days when you didn't have different colors of candles. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this blush pink and all the different options that we have nowadays, but it's something very nostalgic about the old cream color that we used to have. So now it is time to decorate my home for Easter. In Sweden, Easter runs for about a week, I would say, really focusing mainly on the 4 days that we are on holiday here. That is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we have an extra day which is called annandag påsk here in Sweden, which is on a Monday. So it's nice to have a 4-day weekend to start off the spring season. So what I'm doing here now is just adding some of these eggs and feathers into my existing centerpiece to create a sort of Easter floral arrangement. Then we will be working on the påskris. Before the 1970s, Easter used to be observed as a religious event here in Sweden, with stores and banks and cinemas all shut for Good Friday in recognition of the crucifixion of Christ. But in recent decades and from the 1970s, it is largely a mix of traditions, some pagan traditions as well as some religious traditions. Now, this påskris that I'm making is very, very typical to Sweden. They used to use birch twigs. Obviously, this time of year, the trees are blooming, but everything is not completely bloomed out. And typically those days you used to get a lot of snow this time of year. We don't anymore. So you just really had very bad twigs. So people would go out, pick out the twigs, bring them home and add these sort of really lovely colored feathers to make everything look festive, which is what I'm doing here. Now, I love to keep up these traditions in my home, especially for my children, but not everybody decorates for Easter because it's such a short holiday and lots of people go to their families if anybody is not living close to where they are, and a lot of people do go away on holiday. But let's get this påskris done with the feathers and then we can start adding in our eggs. These are the eggs that I want to hang on my påskris. They are very light. I featured them last week when we went shopping. They are reminiscent of the eggs that you would blow out, the real eggs actually that you'd use, and you'd blow the egg yolk and the egg out and probably bake something or make some scrambled eggs, and then they would glue on some string and then you'd add them onto your påskris, which would obviously make it very, very light because you're just left with the shell. Luckily for us these days, we don't need to do all of that and waste so much egg. We can go to the shop and buy different colored eggs to hang on our påskris. It's looking beautiful, it's looking festive, and I'm really, really happy that I added in a touch of yellow this year. Now it was time to decorate this bowl. I wanted to add the rest of the eggs that I had. I did do some shopping a few years ago at the local garden center and I picked up quite a few of these eggs. So the leftover eggs I thought would be fun to add onto some moss like I'm doing here, just to give it a little bit more of a festive touch. Then it was time to add our Easter eggs. Now, as you can see, I was able to open up these Easter eggs because they're made from cardboard. These are typical Swedish Easter eggs we give the kids here. And as you can see, I'm filling it with my kids' favorite candy. Yes, we don't give them chocolate eggs. The eggs are filled with candy. And the reason for this is because Sweden has a huge culture of sweets, loose sweets. On a Saturday, it's called lördagsgodis, Saturday's sweets. And most often the tradition is that the kids go to the store and you pick up your loose candy, you weigh it, and then you pay for the weight that you buy. So I'm closing up these Easter eggs, which I got a couple of years ago with a lot of sweets in. I saved them because I really love this sort of whimsical Alice in Wonderland feel that they have. So I've got one of them each for my boys. So I'm going to put them in the bowl. They're pretty good. They won't open it till Easter, even though it's on the table. So all of the Easter decor is done for the table. Let's move into the hall. This is called a påskkärring. It is a witch, as you can see, a really sweet looking witch that's flying on her broom. This dates back to an old belief that the witches flew on their broomsticks to a big party, a bonfire party held by the devil. So this tradition has just kept on going in Sweden, and today in this modern world it is developed into a sort of a sweeter tradition where the young children dress up as påskkärringar, Easter witches. They make Easter cards at home and then they go knocking on doors and exchanging their Easter cards for Easter candy. It was sort of the Swedish tradition of trick-or-treating before we had Halloween here in Sweden as well. So as you can see now, I'm adding some Easter decor to these outside bushes. So this is what we typically see here in Sweden this time of year. It's drab, there's nothing pretty about it. So we like to add in some of these Easter decor just to make it festive. Now, not everyone does this, but most of the houses sometimes put some of these decor pieces out, which really makes it fun. Now it's that time in the video we do a little bit of cooking. We are making jultronsylt, which means cloudberry jam. Now, as you can see, I'm adding in a lot of sugar. It does require quite a lot of sugar. It is a jam that we're making. These are cloudberries that are typically found in the north of Sweden. You have to handpick them one at a time. So if you bought them at the shop, they do cost a pretty penny. So we are very lucky. We have a summer house in the north of Sweden where we can go and pick these. So this is what I did last year. We picked them, we cleaned them, we put them in boxes, and I divided them up. So this had about, I think, 1.5 kilos. So to 1 kilo of jultronsylt or cloudberries, I would have to add about 6 deciliters of sugar. So that's what I did, and I'm going to give it a slight stir. I don't want to break up the berries. They're really, really beautiful. They're called the gold of the north because they're not easy to come by. They grow in these sort of marshlands, and you really have to pick them up, and it is quite a tedious job. If you want to have a look and see how we do that, I will have a link to one of the videos in the description box below. So as you can see, all the sugar has melted 10 minutes later, and I'm just going to keep it on the fire to make sure that all the granulates have dissolved. And once it sort of starts bubbling up like that on the side, as you can see, it's ready to go. So you want to let it cool. I had it into a jar. We have it with porridge. We have it with pancakes. It's really yummy to have with ice cream. You warm up the sylt and you have this sort of cold vanilla ice cream with warm cloudberry jam. It really is quite delicious. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog, hanging out with me, decorating for Easter, doing a little bit of shopping and cooking. I am so grateful for those of you who've subscribed to my channel recently. Those of you who are new watching, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Happy Easter, everyone, and I'll see you next time.